Parishioners and friends, good day to everyone. And today we're going to do something that is wintry, from the winter dish. This is from Italy. It's called Pizzoccheri. Pizzoccheri usually is from the Valtellina, which is a valley up in the north of Italy. I used to go a lot with my youth group when I was young, growing up, and for hikings, for a week in summer camp in the mountains, because it's just the beautiful mountains. There's a place called Teglio, and that a famous place where they make pizzoccheri of the Valtellina. But the ingredient of this dish from Teglio is a cheese called Casera, and that cheese I cannot find it here. So my dear friends, I had to look around, investigate what kind of cheese. Fontina, raclette are very similar. But then I kept looking, because I wanted to do this for a while now, and I've been keep looking, and I found a cheese from Duncan called the Cowichan Valley, called Thombury. And if you can see, it's from Duncan, Thombury Cheese. Thombury is really close to Casera, and because it's from Duncan, Cowichan Valley, we're gonna call this dish Pizzoccheri, not Valtellina, Pizzoccheri Vancouver Island. We are coining a new dish in Canada, right here! Yay! Pizzoccheri Vancouver Island. And for those who, most of you know where is Vancouver Island, but for those who do not know, I have a beautiful a t-shirt of Canada here, and Vancouver Island is right beside British Columbia on the west coast, right here. That's where we are, in that little island right there. And this t-shirt is made by a friend of mine, Roy. He made this t-shirt and gave it to me. He gave it one also to the bishop. Anyway, let's talk about Pizzoccheri. This is the Pizzoccheri that a friend of mine, John from Montreal, brings me every time he comes to visit me. And it's already pre-made, made in Italy. You can find them in Montreal, and I can show you how do they look. Those are already made and dry, because it's made with buckwheat flour and a little bit of white flour as well. We're gonna make them maybe a bit bigger than this. This is very small. We're not using this, of course. We're gonna doing them from scratch. And this is the sarrasin flour, sarrasin or buckwheat, and does not have gluten, so we need to have some regular white flour, and the portion is 4:1, so it's 200 grams, about for 4 or 5 people, and 50 grams of white flour. Then the queen of the dish is cabbage. This is the queen, and this is the king, the cheese. As I said, the cheese we use is Thombury from Duncan. Then we need a nice potato, Parmesan cheese we can find everywhere. Then we have butter, probably 70 grams of butter, garlic and sage. So we mix the flours together. As I said, the sarrasin flour, I call it sarrasin, but it's buckwheat in English, doesn't have gluten. That's why we need a quarter of it, 4:1 of white flour, otherwise will not stick together. And if you're gluten-free, I believe you can find some of those gluten-free flours that can help to keep things together. Okay, so we do our little volcano. We just add a little bit of water, and we can just start to mix it together. We always need some extra buckwheat, not the white one, buckwheat for dusting, so it doesn't stick together. So this is the right consistency, and you'll know it if it gets too wet, then you can add a bit more. If it's too dry, you can add a bit more water. All right. Simple. So with the roller, we're gonna roll it down to about 2-3 millimeters, very, very thin. And then we'll cut it. So we're gonna take the edge out to make it square. Let's take this piece, square it up. Remember how the pieces were? So we do 3 fingers length and keep dusting so we can put one on top of the other one. And now the final cut. Maybe like this. They're not exactly the same because those are made at home, not with a machine, so they will never be perfect, but that's the beauty of the homemade. Do you agree? Voila. So we take all these pizzoccheri, we put them in a bowl. Savoy cabbage, beautiful. I don't think we're gonna use it all. It's kind of big. We may use it, let's cut it in half. And so we cut this like that, small slivers, beauty. The fragrance of cabbage is so good. Voila. Look how beautiful. Once it's cooked, it cooks, then it reduces anyway, so. Nice potato! And what is a russet potato, no? That's classical potato. We're gonna skin it, or, peel it. There is more than one way to skin a cut, but I only know one way to skin a potato, and that is this one. Voila, wonderful potato, already peeled and washed and rinsed, and we're gonna cut it bite size because this is gonna be a dish where you don't need a knife, just a fork. Half and a half of a half of a half and a half. Half and a half, the half of the half, the half of the half. Beautiful potatoes, we put them in a bowl. We're gonna Parmesan cheese, we're gonna grate the Parmesan cheese, we're gonna use it at the end to put it on top. For the Parmesan cheese, we're using 150 grams more or less. Doesn't have to be exactly perfect. So this is the king of our Pizzoccheri Vancouver Island. This is 500 grams, okay? And just to give you an idea, it's $36. We're gonna use half. Let's say we use 150 Parmesan cheese. We're gonna have 200 grams, 250. We're gonna use half of this. Beauty, beauty, beauty. So we're gonna take the skin out, obviously. Fantastic. So we're going to do small pieces that will melt in between the layers of pizzoccheri, potato and cabbage. When they are cooked, we put them in a pot and then we put the cheese in between the layers and they will melt. I didn't say this at the beginning, but everything is room temperature. Like the water that we use is not too cold, not too warm, and the cheese is room temperature. Everything is room temperature when we cook. Good. The water is boiling, so we can put always some salt in the boiling water when we put the pasta in, but in this case we're gonna put now the potatoes. And we'll let them go for about 5 minutes. Five minutes, the potatoes are being in the boiling water, and now we put the cabbage and we let it go for another 3-4 minutes. Et voila. And these pizzoccheri, they need to boil another 5 minutes. Very delicately, we don't want to break them, they're kind of fragile. Because as I said, there's not much gluten. The buckwheat does not have any gluten, that's why we have a little bit of the white one, but they're still fragile. We're gonna use this part at the end, so we're gonna put it right on top so that will warm up. I'm gonna clean a little bit here. This is the buckwheat that is breaking down. Look at this. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put this one on this pot that is already warm. We keep it boiling because we're gonna put it back in, and I'll show you one layer. Try to drain. We use this one so we can drain the water, otherwise it gets too watery. And we do a layer here, and at this point we put the cheese, and Thombury cheese from Cowichan Valley, Duncan. It's kind of a layer. What a beauty. And then here's all cheese, we put it back in. That's it. Let's open it up a little bit. The one on the bottom is already melted. And then one more layer. This is lots. Pizzoccheri. And we put some Parmesan cheese on top. We're gonna put it back on the boiling water pot. We turn it down a little bit to keep it warm and let the cheese melt slowly. In the meantime, we have butter, garlic, and sage. The trio of sage and garlic that always go together. Look what's going on here. The cheese is melting. We turn it off because it's nice and warm. The butter is melting nicely. We'll let it go for a little bit more. So we'll take the pizzoccheri pot here. Whoa, look at this beauty. Now we take this and we'll filter, turn it off. And this is what we're gonna do, right on top like that. Ooh, yummy, yummy, yummy. You don't want to have this every day, of course, but once in a while, winter time, when it is cold outside, put some salt and some pepper. So when we look at something like this, it looks so good, it smells so good, the question is it gonna be good or is it not gonna be good? The only way to find out is to taste it. Look at this, cheese is all inside. Here is Pizzoccheri Vancouver Island, because Vancouver Island is Canada and Canada is... This land is my land, this land is my land. From this star to Vancouver Island, round the circle to the great lake waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went tasting, oh, beauty, beauty. Oh, I miss it so much. And the cheese.